Now, what is the Monica Lewinsky poem that is in here? Explain this.
Oh, do we have to? I guess we should.
Well, we should.
We happen to have someone who sent us Monica Lewinsky's poem that she wrote in 9th grade. Actually, not in 9th grade, when she was a 9-year-old. And I know I'm going to rot in hell eternally for this, but can I maybe just give it a sample?
Yeah, give a sample.
Okay. It was written, the poem is a poignant rumination on how, quote, I can be a delicious lunch, dinner, or breakfast, if you're weird. She goes on to describe herself, quote, as a round and flat piece of dough with lots of topping. I am a mouth's best friend. I make you say, yum, yum.
It's amazing how kids know at a young age what they're going to do with their life.
Alina, you've always been so sweet. You really are a genuine fan, and it's amazing. And we've known each other for years.
Yeah.
You've been to my house. We've had pizza. Girl after my own heart. Do we love a pizza or what? We love a pizza.
We do.
It's so much fun. Now, someone.
Really hope there's a reunion.
Have you? I hope so too. Have you met Jen before?
No, I haven't.
But you were just hanging out with Lisa and Courtney, right?
I was. I did this thing with Courtney and Lisa, and they invited me over for pizza, and Judd Apatow was there too. It was pretty cool.
Let's talk about something very controversial: pizza.
And by Parisianis, you can eat your pizza however you want.
Yeah. That looks great. Very stereotypical. Went to George's house?
Yes, of course. And him and his wife and all these nice people were there, and they invited Jen and me. I know George back in the day too, so we went there, and you take a boat, you get on a boat, you cruise down. Went over to their house. They made us homemade pizza, and it was an amazing time. I sat next to Bono. It was a good day.
That is a good day. She likes to. She's busy all the time. I know she's the greatest host, but
she is a good.
I'm going to bed at 9. I can't come over. Your thing starts at 8:30. So
yes, she can handle it. She can handle it. And her parties are incrable at her house too. Yeah,
she does have good parties, and she makes good pizza as well.
She makes great pizza.
Wonderful pizza. All right, just y'all are all like, whatever.
These circles of friends that you guys have. You told a story about going and having pizza at the Clooney's in Lake Como.
Yeah, that's all an Aniston thing. Like George and I would love you to come over for pizza, but
how was the pizza? Was it good?
Oh,
did he make it himself?
Pizza was better than Clooney's. They both made. Everybody made a certain kind of pizza.
There's no pizza we didn't love.
Something that he doesn't.
5 different kinds. 5 different kinds or 6 different kinds of pizza that night. Clooney's was excellent. Amal's was the winner.
Thank you very much for this prestigious award. To show my appreciation, I am inviting you all to a pizza party tonight at Jennifer Aniston's house. I'll see you there.
We're having pizza. What? Like 7 different cheeses. 7 different cheeses. They start chanting, bop, 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 bop. Best fucking pizza I've ever had. Best pizza I've ever had in my life. Some type of lettuce on it. I've never tasted this shit. My white baby's got some type of lettuce on it. My white baby's got some type of lettuce on it.
Hey, you're in the double digits world? It's like really important. Do you like pizza? Yes. I saw you looking, actually, down there. I saw you being really excited about the possibility of having a pizza party with a pop star. Do you have pizza parties with pop stars often? No. Okay. Just checking. Are you nervous? Yes. Okay.
Reading this creepy book, Secret Pizza Party.
Of course, the best part about pizza is the gooey cheesiness, salty pepperoniness, sweet tomato-ness, and crispity crunchy crust. Yum. Sorry, raccoon. I didn't mean to rub it in. Hey, cheer up. I just had a great idea. Let's throw a pizza party at your house tonight. Shh. Don't tell anyone. This will be a secret pizza party. I know what you're thinking. Why would we keep such a delicious, delicious party a secret? Okay, sure. It's so folks don't show up to bonk you with brooms, but that's not the only reason. When you make something secret, you make it special. Isn't that right, Jennifer? Regular handshake? Boring. Secret handshake? Booyah. Regular staircase? Tiring. Secret creepy staircase? Terrific. Regular pizza party? Get that raccoon off the table. Secret pizza party? Get that raccoon another slice of pizza. He's the guest of honor. Why is there wine on the table? Soda pops or something. To put juice, put water for Christ's sake. I don't care. Get the wine off the table with the children's book. Like, what is wrong with people? Hot diggity dog, our pizza party is going to be so much fun. Call the pizza man, tell him to bring over his absolute finest pizza pie. Hang on a minute. You don't want the delivery guy to know where you live. He might recognize you from all the posters and chase you off with a broom. Story continues on. The raccoon goes into this creepy disguise and steals the pizza. Phew, we made it. Let's barricade the doors and pop open that pizza box. Secret pizza party. Oops, I said that kind of loud. Sorry, pizza smell gives me the happy screams. What does that even mean?
It's called Secret Pizza Party. Tomorrow, Pepper, then you're gonna love this book. Pepperoni. Are they all pepperoni? Here, Sebastian, look. Pepperoni. The end.
Yo, take a look at this. We got Johnny Depp, one of the most famous actors of all time, right here, guys. I can't make this stuff up. Look what he's talking about right here. Right here. You guys can read. I can't make this stuff up, guys. One thing I do notice is that all these celebrities sure do love pizza.
So Jimmy Kimmel tweeted back in 2010, I like my pizza dead in an organic vegan restaurant in Manhattan. They have something called live pizza. Isn't it funny how none of us reading this has ever made such a specific joke about pizza? It's always them. Hey, at Jimmy Kimmel, can you help me understand this post of yours a bit better? What's the difference between a dead or live pizza? Care to explain? Even if you go back to previous old Ellen tweets, they're all from like 2013, 2015. A lot of other people are from like just later on dates. This was back in 2010. So I think they definitely thought that people were not going to ever figure this out, especially because the internet wasn't like crazy with like conspiracy theories, right? So they thought they could kind of just get away with this. Maybe they're kind of just giving the location of where it is. But also, that's just all speculations. Maybe there's something is called dead or live pizza. I mean, I would get it. I would understand this if it was like some random person that said something like this, because then there is a chance that, you know, it's just a coincidence. But it's like Jimmy Kimmel, the guy who's still #1 for his niche, right, is talking about something like this.
Now they're like, oh, this is demonic. This is clearly demonic. There's these references to pizza, a lot of references to pizza that are 100% some kind of a code.
I must appease him with the gift of a man-child. Come to me. I must feed you. I must feed you to the room of waste. No, take him. No, take the baby. Take the baby. Don't eat me, the baby.
How is that funny for a skit?
I'm sure the baby will be fine.
Because I have this crazy idea that I will order pizza. And so if I do, I don't want it to go to waste. Who will eat pizza if I... Jennifer, yes? Harrison?
Turning the Oscars into an everyone's invited dinner party with dinner.
That's kind of what the connection became. And you can look, I mean, you can't deny that a lot of these emails are very strange and do not make any sense in the context of actually talking about pizza, because it was internet slang that was previously that you were able to make the relation. I just don't see how you can't connect it, at least in some way. It's kind of like the Podesta thing. Everybody says go and look at photos from Tony Podesta's house if you've never seen it before. And you're not going to say at the very least some weird shit, or it looked weird as shit in terms of the art in and of itself.
Yeah. Let me read one of these pizza ones again. This is better than a Chinese cookie. See attached. Let's go for pizza and grape soda again. No one else can understand. Does that seem like a normal thing that
you draw your own
a couple of billionaires would be sending to each other? There was also a lot of language that appears to be coded regarding food. I wanted to let you know the crew really appreciated the pizza. Another email read, this is better than a Chinese cookie. See attached. Let's go for pizza and grape soda again. This one talks about, yeah, that's the pizza. You mean radiating a soft glow with a look of bliss and excitement.
So people went back to Kobe Bryant's old tweets from 2013 and he said, youthful metabolism. I'm fresh of pepperoni pizza and grape soda. What does this mean? Well, guys, I'll let y'all know. Check this out. Might want to look into that helicopter crash again. So that's what that guy's speculating. But guys, it gets so much worse. Keep watching. People are literally in disbelief. Oh, hell no, not Kobe too. And people said MJ would never. Oh, yeah, too late, guys. Y'all know the clip that just came out of what MJ was doing, right? And that's just so ironic that this person's like, well, that's why MJ's the GOAT. He's way better. And then bro was literally doing that on national television. It kind of just exposed him.
I would eat a human. If you were at a very fancy restaurant and they were like a tiny piece of human meat.
No. I think the only way
you wouldn't try a tiny bite?
No.
Really?
Absolutely not.
Is that terrible?
Now, in case you did not pay attention to what was termed Pizzagate, back in 2016, the short of it is that the DNC email server got hacked, and off of those emails, they were published publicly by Julian Assange WikiLeaks, and there was a strange amount of references to pizza parties, grown adult men, government employees, men, referring to pizza in ways and within a context that made it seem as though they obviously were not referring to literal pizza, having had parties on ranches and referring to pizza. Well, I should let you know the FBI has already formally acknowledged that pizza is used as a code word among. It's not an illusion, that's real. No conspiracy needed. Epstein emails, people are diving back in there. What are we to make of these 900 plus emails referring to pizza in real ways?
Like, what would your last meal be?
Oh, brother, probably a fully loaded deep dish pizza. I love all kinds of pizza.
Yeah.
Hillary, you are next. Name the most mischievous thing Chelsea did as a teenager in the White House.
My answer was order pizza, and here's what I mean by that.
Chelsea, your mother often babysits for you. What does she do that you don't approve of?
Pizza for lunch and dinner every day.
Is it all just a coincidence that the Podesta emails revealed to the public by WikiLeaks in 2016 contain countless pizza-related words such as cheese, hot dogs, pasta, walnut sauce? Is this why Hillary deleted 33,000 emails for which she is currently scrutinized? Does that explain what Obama meant when he ordered $65,000 worth of hot dogs and pizza flown in from Chicago to the White House in the middle of the night for a private party? Is that why Hillary emailed Obama warning him he needed to be more careful next time? The hot dogs can come, but if you make a spectacle out of it, that will be our downfall. And I think it would be wiser to restrict this activity to our predetermined locations. Really? For a few hot dogs? Isn't it weird that these security camera pictures of children lying on ping pong tables in the basement of Comet Ping Pong are shown on the walls upstairs? Who the hell was watching them? And why does their website have a super secured backdoor to a secret division where you can order pizza pictures for absurd prices? This screenshot was made public by a hacker. It's in low resolution, so I will read out loud what it says at the bottom. This month we have 5 fresh pizzas for your enjoyment. We also have 4 surviving pizzas from last month's session. All are on sale at an extremely low price, as they are in poor health and not expected to survive. So a requirement is that you finish eating your pizza after your session. This month's special includes a 30% discount on severe torture. Each image below is available for $1,000 in fine print. Why are they talking about kill rooms, murder, and rinsing it off when you're done? What the hell is going on here?
Now knowing that pizza is a confirmed and so is hot dogs, what was that transaction really about? So I think this came. I think this email came out from WikiLeaks, from the global intelligence files, but there was one email that talked about how Barack Obama threw a private party in the White House using the taxpayers' dollar, and they shipped $65,000 worth of pizza and hot dogs from Chicago using clandestine channels. Okay. So again, like, if it really was just pizza and hot dogs, like, how big is the White House? Like, what pizza would cost $65,000? What hot dogs would cost $65,000? It would amount to $65,000, and either should pizza. So, you know, now knowing that pizza is a confirmed code word, and so is hot dogs, what was that transaction really about? Because I promise it wasn't about pizza and hot dogs in terms of the food.
But like, so then it would make sense that Obama's personal chef might know something about food who dies mysteriously. That's just a question. It's just a valid question.
IRO writes the $65,000 hot dog party that Obama had in the White House was in the WikiLeaks files. Hillary alerted him that he should be more careful. You should have a chat with Julian Assange. Yeah, he was emailing about hot dog parties and pizza parties, and she did tell him that he should be more careful. Why would you have to be careful to have a pizza party?
So tell me about Joe and your relationship with Joe, and what do I need to know? Like, what's the thing about the ice cream? He loves ice cream. Tell me about that.
Well, listen, ice cream is big. Pasta with red sauce, he can go deep on that. He really does like those aviator glasses. He knows he looks good in them. But I tease Joe sometimes, but he has been at my side for 7 years. I love that man. He's not just a great vice president, he is a great friend. We've gotten so close in some places in Indiana, they won't serve us pizza anymore.
Say hi at a party.
We had amazing pizza that night, and
It was great. It was a blast. I mean, there's some good pictures from that night too.
It just go with everything. You can get baby oil on pizza. I done got it on pizza before. You taste it, you can't even hardly taste it. I done had baby oil all around my mouth before. I don't even know it's on there. It's just a baby oil type night. It's just baby oil. All right. Praise the Lord, baby oil.
You can't seem to agree on anything anymore except for two things. Pizza and us. And us.
Daughter Sophie and I are competing in the Miss Ultimate Sexy Baby Nevada pageant.
I'm Sophie Hines and I want to be Miss Ultimate Sexy Baby.
Sophie and I did her first page when she was only 3 months old. Hands, sexy feet, sexy feet, sexy feet. And make daddy love you. Sexy baby.
Sexy baby.
Sexy baby.
Talk dirty to me.
Talk dirty to me. Sexy baby. sexy baby. You are such a sexy baby.
I'm so happy it looks like that. I thought it was gonna be like gold and like unnecessary, but it was good.
I did too, to be honest. It's a little weird because I know we're gonna eat a $70,000 pizza later, so it's kind of hard to get hyped for like a $2,000 steak. Sure. You know what I mean?
Really like looks like your life will keeps coming back. It's a finest beef. I believe that you'll ever taste.
I bet this will trigger him. Do you have any A1 steak sauce? Stop. I called it.
Oh my god.
Whoa.
It's like slicing into a baby. Huh? Poor choice of words.
Right under our noses, they did a live child auction at the 2014 Oscars, and then we all laughed.
Hi. Hey, Jeffrey, how are you?
And then she says hello to Jeffrey Epstein at the beginning.
How's everybody doing? Good? Is anybody hungry? I just feel like everybody's got to be hungry right now. Good. I was hoping you'd say that, because I have this crazy idea that I will order pizza. And so if I do, I don't want it to go to waste. Who will eat pizza if I... Jennifer? Yes? Harrison? Yes? Yes? All right. Too large? What do you think? I'm going to order some pizza. That's what I'll do.
And then the money in the hat part was like mocking the church. And then the names like Kevin Spacey, Weinstein, like none of that aged well.
So I borrowed Pharrell's hat, and I thought I'd pass it around and get some money for the pizza, because nobody ever really... What do you have, Harvey? 200? 200. That's a start. That's a start. Let's see. What do you have, John? Would you have 20? Kevin?
20. That's for you.
Thanks so much. Okay.
And then notice that she changes to white when she serves the pizza. And you know what party is all white?
Come on down. We have cheese. We have different kinds. Who's hungry? Who's going to eat on this side? Okay. Cheese. That's a cheese. Yeah. Julia wants cheese. Who's your favorite movie star? They're here. Who do you want to talk to? The whole thing? All right, great, great. And then I don't have any money. Who here has... Sandy? Where's Harvey Weinstein? Harvey. Harvey. No pressure, only 1 billion people watching. Whatever you feel is right.
It's like they had an inside joke that they thought would never get out. Like they went really overboard with the pizza obsession, which I feel like makes it more suspicious. And then it's like if they were talking in code, pizza means children because we know about Pizzagate. And then based on that, cheese is girl, meat hot dog would be boy, because... And they talk about it in code because they get off to doing it in front of everybody secretly. Like only the elite understand what's going on. What other purpose would there be for this? If you don't believe me, explain why all of this nonsense.
You really think this is the right thing for us to be doing, Ivana? It's wrong, isn't it?
But it feels so right.
Introducing stuffed crust pizza from Pizza Hut with a ring of cheese baked into it. You want to eat it the wrong way.
Pizza. No, pizza's still pizza.
Speaking of pizza, wait, can I bust you on pizza?
Oh, no.
You did, this is a promotion, and you were giving out pizza on the street, and you were putting, like, an insane amount of Parmesan. Like, are you one of those people that goes to a pizzeria and they're like, oh no, she's here again?
Yes. Let's take some Italian boys around to try New York City pizza.
I will say, I think you tend to some weird pizzerias if you were at the place where they're putting pasta on the pizza.
It's like, oh, we're going to go home now. It's like, let's go to the next one. I was like bar crawling pizza, and they were like, we need to take her home and sober her up from pizza.
All right.
So yeah, they cut me off.
All right, well, fair enough. It's so lovely.
They'll name 3 names for your lady parts.
Mini moos, a JJ, and a pizza.
So Ellen DeGeneres' old DJ name Twitch tweeted back in 2013, Ellen has eaten at least 12,000 pizzas in her life, LOL, at the Ellen Show. Bro, I actually cannot believe this, guys, because as you know, it came out that Ellen was definitely one of the most prolific cannibal, which that is not fully evidence, right? But a lot of people do believe that. I believe it. Something was always creepy about her. As you know, there was that old clip from the Oscars where she's walking around handing out pizza. All the celebrities are like awkwardly laughing, eating it. Why is she handing out pizza? What does that have to do with anything? You're hosting the Oscars. What, like, why are you they already have food? Like, what's the joke there that you're handing out pizza with the pizza man? Like, actually, what is the joke?
Okay, but did you guys know that Macaulay Culkin was in a cover band called the Pizza Underground, in which they covered the band The Velvet Underground, but turned all the songs about pizza?
Band, the Pizza Underground, will be in Mobile tonight, playing at the Alabama Music Box downtown at 9 p.m. Culkin and his crew cover songs from 60s and 70s rock group Velvet Underground, and they change all the lyrics to songs about pizza.
There was something very strange about him appearing at the end of the Kim Kardashian Santa Baby video. If you know, you know.
Sorry about the light, baby, but you're so cute. Want some pizza?
You know, lots of weird things happen to kids all the time, all around the world, every day. You know, I have something to show for it. You know, so it's nice.
That's a weird way to describe a movie career.
Yeah, pretty much.
Lots of weird things happen to kids.
Yeah, man,
but I got some money out of it.
Look,
I had a pizza delivery job, taking deliveries over into Hollywood, around here. And this lady comes to the door, she grabs her pizza, just stood there, and I was like, oh!
I just watched this old interview of Taylor Swift on Jimmy Fallon talking about a pizza party. At the end of it, she says, I have a lot of good pictures, which has made me think. So many celebrities, almost every celebrity you can think of, has weirdly talked about and brought up in some sort of interview their pizza parties. Celebrities also post every single thing they do, including what water bottle they drink in the morning, yet none of them have ever posted inside one of these pizza parties. Why?
I knew the Pizzagate shit was real when I turned 18 years old and realized that no adult that I knew or had ever interacted with would have any reason to constantly talk about pizza and pizza parties, because adults do not have pizza parties. The last time I had a pizza party, I think I was in like 6th grade. Okay, adults do not have pizza parties. They might have dinner parties, they might have charcuterie board nights. I do not know any adult, I have never heard of this happening, this is not a phenomenon online, where adults get together and order a bunch of pizza and eat it, okay? And like, when you become an adult and your frontal lobe develops and you really start looking at this shit through a different lens, you're like, what the fuck are they talking about? And how did it take people so long to catch on to this? Because I remember seeing this as a teenager in high school and even thinking then, like, that is kind of weird. Why are they always talking about, we all made our own pizzas. We all made our own pizzas at Jennifer Aniston's house. You're all invited to a pizza party at my house after this. Just like fucking bizarre.
You know, at this point, as an actress, I don't even give a fuck if this hurts my career. I don't even care. But what I want to say is, all your favorite A-list actors that even mention pizza parties, Jennifer Aniston, Ben Affleck, Taylor Swift was just talking about pizza party. All these people, and there's more, there's so many. Just look at the interviews. Look at the interviews of all the A-listers that talk about these damn fucking pizza parties and having pizza. And oh, we had some pizza. Grown adults talking about having pizza. They're in on it, okay? Because if you guys know what the pizza stands for, your favorite actors and favorite fucking celebrities are in on that shit, and they're doing it. And we need to cut them off. We need to cut them off because we know what pizza stands for. And just watch the interviews. Look how they talk about, oh, we had a pizza party and everyone was there and the pizza was just great. What the fuck does pizza stand for? You know what it stands for. So stop supporting these people. Stop supporting them. Okay? Because this is some evil ass shit. It's sick. It's sick. And I don't even care if this hurts the little bit of career that I have. I don't care. Okay? We know what pizza stands for. And you know what? If we don't cut these people off, they're going to continue to get away with this shit. We need to cut their money supply. We need to cut them off. Because we know what pizza stands for. And it's disturbing, and it's to the point where I feel like I need to take a break from social media because I'm tired. I'm tired of hearing about the Epstein files. It's just getting worse and worse and worse. It's giving me nightmares. It's getting worse. You know why? You know why? Because I care about children. Okay? I care about children. And what they're doing to children is disgusting. And we need to find some kind of way to punish them because they're probably not going to get punished. So if we can cut them off, that's what we need to do. Just watch the interviews of the ones that talk about pizza. The ones who talk about pizza are in on this shit. This sick shit.
Many of us have noticed how often powerful people and celebrities talk about pizza parties. At first it seems harmless. Celebrities joke about them in interviews. Politicians reference them casually. Emails between politicians and even members of royal families mention them like it's nothing unusual. But when you start looking closer, the pattern becomes harder to ignore. Because over the years, dozens of clips have surfaced showing celebrities laughing about strange pizza parties, late-night gatherings, and coded-sounding jokes that many people believe might mean something more. Ritualistic gatherings with party favors. And what are those favors? Pizza, a code name for children. Individually, each clip could be dismissed as harmless humor, but together, they start to raise uncomfortable questions, especially after the world learned about Jeffrey Epstein and the elite trafficking network he operated alongside Ghislaine Maxwell. Suddenly, the idea that powerful people might communicate in coded language doesn't sound so far-fetched anymore. And then there are the leaked emails connected to John Podesta, released by WikiLeaks, where conversations about pizza orders and pizza maps sparked one of the internet's most controversial investigations. To understand why people online question the behavior of powerful elites today, we have to go much further back in history. Thousands of years ago in the ancient Near East, powerful city-states worshipped a deity known as Baal. Baal was considered a fertility and storm god by the Canaanites and Phoenicians, but historical sources describe a darker side to this religion, rituals that involved child sacrifice for money and power. Ancient writers describe ceremonies where infants were offered to the god during times of crisis, or to gain favor from this deity, which quite literally represents demonic worship. Archaeological discoveries later uncovered burial sites known as tophets, containing urns filled with the cremated remains of infants, which many scholars believe were connected to sacrificial rituals in ancient Phoenician cities such as Carthage. These practices shocked neighboring civilizations. Greek and Roman historians wrote about rituals where children were placed into the heated arms of bronze statues, representing the god before falling into a fire below. Every account of powerful elites performing sacrificial rituals in secret became embedded in cultural memory. But history didn't stop there. As ancient empires collapsed, aristocratic bloodlines continued to consolidate power across Europe. During the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, powerful dynasties ruled through networks of elite families, sometimes referred to collectively as the Black Nobility. I spoke about the Black Nobility in my last video titled It's All of Them.
Oh, nobody knows. Nobody knows. And it's so fucking funny to them. I didn't think they would ever get caught. This has been going on for probably millennia. The people that have controlled all of the wealth have been part of it.
We are taught that the modern world is governed by visible institutions. Presidents, parliaments, monarchies, courts. Power, we are told, is public, procedural, and democratic. But what if political authority is largely theatrical? What if the figures we see are not the architects of power, but its administrators, while something older, more entrenched and less visible operates behind the facade? The theory of Black nobility proposes exactly that a network of aristocratic bloodlines, families such as the Orsini, Aldobrandini, and Borgia, survived the collapse of overt dynastic rule by embedding themselves within religious, financial, and institutional structures. These families were not merely wealthy. They influenced papal elections, commanded armies, brokered alliances, and shaped doctrine. When monarchies fell and republics rose, the argument goes, power did not disappear, it decentralized and concealed itself. These were aristocratic houses tied to long-standing power structures in places like Venice and Rome. Families such as the Venetian patrician houses held enormous political and economic influence for centuries, controlling trade, banking, and governance. According to many researchers of hidden power structures, the origins of certain elite bloodlines can be traced back to ancient Mediterranean civilizations, such as Phoenicia and its colony Carthage, where the deity Baal was worshipped through rituals believed to include sacrifice and blood offerings. As empires rose and fell, these priestly and merchant classes allegedly migrated into Europe, integrating into ruling families and institutions of power, preserving their ancient belief systems behind secrecy and symbolism. It's believed these elite bloodlines preserved ancient mystery religions behind closed doors, secret traditions passed down through generations of powerful families. Over centuries, this hidden continuity is believed to have embedded itself within aristocratic bloodlines, secret societies, and political structures, maintaining influence while disguising the spiritual framework of Baal worship beneath layers of tradition, ritual, and elite networks that continue to shape power behind the scenes. The rituals and symbolism of ancient pagan religions didn't disappear, they simply went underground, and critics argue that traces of those ancient belief systems can still be seen today through occult symbolism in elite circles, secret societies, and entertainment industries.
Perhaps the most famous Baal in the Bible is in the book of Exodus. God delivered his people, they got together, and they created a golden calf. And they worshiped it. You would worship Baal if you wanted to succeed and be affluent and live a lavish lifestyle. Baal is typified as a bull. A calf is a baby bull. They were worshiping Baal. And see, what happens is we read the Bible and we think, those people are primitive. Thankfully, we've moved beyond that sort of primitive thinking. Thankfully, we don't worship a Baal or bull. Yes, we do. This is right next to the New York Stock Exchange. If we were Hebrews from the Old Testament, we would say, well, there's Baal, the golden bull, and we worship him because we want a bull or Baal market. A bull or Baal market is a thriving market. What I'm telling you is this: we're dealing with new days but old demons. I've said this for a long time. If the people change and things don't, that means that the spirit working through them is the same.
Cult of Baal, B-A-L. My family masqueraded themselves as Jewish publicly, but behind closed doors, you know, at Passover dinners, when I was drugged, would admit, we are Satanists. They told me that we belonged to the cult of Baal, B-A-apostrophe-A-L. They told me this with consistency while I was being abused. Now, what you can look up about the cult of Baal, information that is publicly available, is that it is thousands of years old. It is a Phoenician satanic fertility cult. And publicly, it's supposed to have been eradicated. But to my knowledge and my experience, it is not. This is what people perceive the Illuminati to be. It is a group of elites that practices forced and uses these crimes to control people. They happen to have a huge reach over politics and entertainment. To answer your basic question, why my family does this, because it was done to them, because having one man bear as many children in a generation as possible and forcing them through these traumatic events, they believe it creates a stronger bond, that creates more loyalty, that it keeps people from talking. And for the most part, they're right, because I'm the only one of my siblings who has directly spoken out about this.
The ancient cults and the bloodlines that continue to these generations.
So how did these pagan religions survive throughout the centuries? They did so through SRA. Satanic ritual abuse, often referred to as SRA, describes a form of abuse carried out within ritualistic settings where victims are subjected to psychological, physical, and sexual exploitation as part of ceremonial practices. Survivors and investigators have described situations in which individuals, often children, are exposed to repeated rituals designed to break down their sense of identity and enforce obedience through fear, trauma, and secrecy. These acts are often reported to include symbolic ceremonies, chanting, and the use of occult imagery meant to reinforce the authority of the group and create a powerful system of psychological control. According to many researchers and whistleblowers studying elite networks, in order to maintain and perpetuate their shadow system of influence, these families allegedly recruit their own children into SRA from a young age. By indoctrinating their offspring through ritual abuse, they aim to ensure the succession of their spiritual and ideological framework, embedding loyalty, obedience, and secrecy that carries the belief system across generations. In this way, the network can continue its influence while tightly controlling who gains access to its inner circle. In many accounts, the ritualistic aspect serves a dual purpose, both as a method of spiritual or ideological expression for the perpetrators and as a deliberate strategy of manipulation. By surrounding abuse with elaborate symbolism, hierarchy, and secrecy, these groups create environments where victims feel trapped, isolated, and unable to seek help. Survivors frequently describe long-lasting trauma, including dissociation, anxiety, and difficulty processing memories tied to these experiences. Discussions surrounding SRA often appear in the broader context of investigations into cult dynamics, organized exploitation, and systems of coercive control. While the details of individual cases vary, the central theme that emerges from survivor testimonies is the use of ritualized environments to reinforce power, obedience, and silence. For many researchers examining abuse within closed groups, ritual elements are understood as a powerful psychological tool used to intimidate victims and maintain loyalty within the group.
My next guest was used also in worshiping the devil, participated in human sacrifice rituals and cannibalism. She says her family has been involved in rituals for generations. She is currently in extensive therapy, suffers from multiple personality disorder, meaning she's blocked out many of the terrifying and painful memories of her childhood. Meet Rachel, who is also in disguise to protect her identity. You come from generations of ritualistic abuse?
Yes, my family has an extensive family tree, and they keep track of who's been involved and who hasn't been involved. And it's gone back to like 1700.
And so you were...
Right, I was born into a family that believes in this.
And does everyone else think it's a nice Jewish family? From the outside, you appear to be a nice Jewish girl?
Definitely.
And you all are worshiping the devil inside the home?
Right. There's other Jewish families across the country. It's not just my own family.
Really? And so who knows about it? Lots of people now.
I talked to a police detective in the Chicago area, and several of my friends know, and I've spoke publicly before. And
so when you were brought up in this kind of evilness, did you just think it was normal?
I've blocked out a lot of the memories I had because of my multiple personality disorder. But yes, I mean, it's like if you grow up with something, you think it's normal.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought
So what kinds of things? You don't have to give us the gory details, but what kinds of things went on in the family?
Well, there would be rituals in which babies would be sacrificed, and you would have to,
Whose babies?
There were people who bred babies in our family. No one would know about it. A lot of people were overweight, so you couldn't tell if they were pregnant or not, or they would supposedly go away for a while and then come back. The other thing I want to point out, not all Jewish people sacrifice babies. I mean,
no.
That's not a very
we kind of know
thing.
that.
I just want to point that out.
This is the first time I heard of any Jewish people sacrificing babies. But anyway, so you witnessed the sacrifice.
Right. When I was very young, I was forced to participate in that, in which I had to sacrifice an infant.
And the purpose of sacrifice is to what? Is to bring you what? What are you sacrificing for?
For power.
Uh-huh. Power. And so, were you ever used? Were you ever used yourself?
I was molested. I was raped several times.
Mm-hmm. And what's your mother doing?
She's
in all of this. What's her role in all of this?
I'm not exactly what her role is. I haven't, recovered all of my memories, but her family was extremely involved.
Mm-hmm.
She brought me to it. Both of my parents brought me to it.
And where is she now?
She lives in the Chicago metropolitan area. She's on the Human Relations Commission of the town that she lives in, and she's an upstanding citizen. Nobody would suspect her.
Were you raised with a sense of right and wrong, Rachel?
Yeah. I mean, it's like I had both. I mean, to the outside world, everything we did was proper and right, and then there were the nights that things changed, that things just got turned around. What was wrong was right, and what was right was wrong. That's what helps to create somebody, to develop MPD.
Multiple personalities.
Right.
Now, in your family, did you all call it worshiping the devil?
No,
Rachel?
I don't know.
It was just evil, these things you did.
Right. Well, I said it was evil, and they said it was good. There's a book that I had just come across called Lilith's Cave, which is a book of Jewish mysticism and supernatural, and there's a lot in that book that relates to what I, endured when I was a child.
Tried to find out, I found out who the owner of the funeral home is, and I wasn't able to talk to him, even though the receptionist said she passed a message along. He's now retired, but I don't know if he was in on it anyway, because I have researched this some, so the death certificate has the person's name who was there at the time the funeral was officiated, but that could be a completely different person than the person who handled the body prior to it being put in the coffin. So it was a closed casket funeral. I will say after that happened, one thing I know that happened more often was my father would have to be killed. So I did it.
So they make a hole in, and they tie string around, and then they put it all around the body, but they're naked, and they got this tattoo on the private with like little piercings. They have they buy plastic willies.
Right, okay.
Yes, and then they strap it on, but they make sure it hurt. They want plastic willies. They don't want to use the real willies.
Why not?
Because it just doesn't hurt. They want to make sure it hurts.
Okay. So who's they? So Papa and who else?
Mr. Hollings, headmistress.
Okay, so
all
Papa,
the teachers.
Mr. Hollings, the headmistress.
Yes, Miss Marden, Mr. Fanoni, Mr. Gorge.
Okay. So who done it when you went to that house? Who was there?
So all the staff.
All the staff.
All the parents. The parents of all the children. They all know about it.
We decided to stop touching each children and stop touching each other and stop touching ourselves and face our urge.
And what else are you going to stop doing?
And stop touching ourselves. We're going to stop touching ourselves.
And what else are you going to stop?
And stop killing babies. And stop killing babies, and we're going to face our fear and face our urge.
You're going to face your fear. Because fear is what?
Fear is the mind killer.
And you're going to help us to catch who? You're going to help us to catch?
All the people. Papa, Miss Collins, Mrs. Hall.
All the policemen, all the social services.
Speak up, speak up.
All the shopkeepers, all the cafes, all the pizza and McDonald's.
Our dad, he forces me and Gabriel to do it. But because we can't, we're not strong enough to cut the baby's head off. He has us to hold a knife, and he puts his hand at the top of our hand, and he helps us to cut the baby's head off. Because he's learning, he's teaching me and Gabriel, so when we're older, to do it to our own children and do this kind of stuff to our own children.
Where is it this that happens?
The church, the kitchen in our church.
The kitchen in the church.
Yes, they got.
So, right, this street. Tell me about this street.
So it's just like, it's not just like just a thin normal string. It's a bit thick. It's like maybe that thick.
Okay.
And they tie around, like in a circle, hang it up on a
Where do they tie it to on the baby?
So it's like on legs, so they put legs together, tie it on, and so it's like one string around and then one string attached, and it's hanging upside down. They get the knife, but they don't just cut it off absolutely. It's still on, so they slide the head off, but it's still hanging on.
So okay.
Yes, and then there's a big white bowl on the floor, and the blood drips in, and then we pour it in a big silver goblet.
Okay, so where's this white bowl? Where did they get the white bowl from?
They bought the big white bowl.
From where?
There's any shop, any white.
Ella and those two children's case is not unique. I sat with her for 3 hours, and what she shared was 100% truth. And I know no police officers have properly investigated this.
Schick's auf Distanz, Schick's jetzt.
Aber lebt es!
Schick ist
Und die haben das dann aufgegessen! Und es war
take this jetzt auf Distanz. Jetzt. Stopp. Ja.
Ein kleines Mädchen berichtet detailliert über Mord und Kannibalismus. Diese Taten liegen gerade ein Jahr zurück. Ihre Eltern haben der Aufnahme zugestimmt. Täter und Tatorte sind der Polizei bekannt. Einzelheiten sollen nicht veröffentlicht werden.
Es ist nichts anderes als das, was man als Snuff-Video bezeichnet. Ein Snuff-Video ist ein Film, in dem ein Kind umgebracht wird, nachdem es gefoltert oder sexuell missbraucht wurde, bis es schließlich stirbt. Das ist ein Snuff-Video. Für wen es bestimmt ist, ich weiß es nicht. Ich meine, ich habe noch nie eines besessen und das ist um Gottes Willen auch nicht mein Wunsch. Aber was man wissen muss und was sehr wichtig ist, diese Filme sind der Antrieb eines parallel existierenden Marktes, der offensichtlich dank eines reichen Publikums funktioniert. Die Menschen, die sich in Anführungsstrichen so ein Programm kaufen können, sind sehr reiche Leute. Es bleibt uns nur noch übrig, sie zu identifizieren.
Quite some time. I'm not sure how long. I lost track of time. I no longer knew when it was daylight or when it was dark because of the covering. And every so often they'd come and just take the covering off and just stand at the top of this pit and taunt me, "Where's your God now?" And they threw human flesh, baby flesh down. And that's what I was to survive on, if I was to survive.
They made it to be like it was a great privilege to eat the bodies. I mean, the girl that I had to kill, they treated me like I was being given a great gift when they gave me a part of her body that I had to eat.
Actually, I had quite an illustrious career, 27 and a half years in the FBI. And in those 27 and a half years, I had 13 assignments, so I moved around the country. The only part of the country I never did live in was really the extreme northeast U.S. So also during my career, I handled just about everything. I was counter-espionage, counter-terrorism in New York and Connecticut, and I negotiated with some skyjackers at Philadelphia International Airport for 2.5 hours, July the 12th, 1972. And I ended up being in charge of most of Southern California. Had over 700 personnel under my command. I personally investigated the Oklahoma City bombing case, huge cover-up. Jack Kennedy's assassination, huge cover-up. Bobby Kennedy's assassination, huge cover-up. World Trade Center, huge cover-up. Okay, terrorism. They're using it as an excuse to take away our constitutional rights and our civil liberties. The Bilderbergs. I'm Ted L. Gunderson, a 27-year veteran of the FBI who retired in March of 1979. At the time of my retirement, I was the senior special agent in charge of the FBI Los Angeles Division with more than 700 personnel under my command and a budget of $22.5 million. I was an agent on the street for 9.5 years, and then I advanced administratively. I was a supervisor, and then I was number 2-man in Connecticut and Philadelphia, and assistant special agent in charge was the title. And then I became a chief inspector, and then I was agent in charge in Memphis, Dallas, and the senior special agent in charge in Los Angeles, because I had 3 other special agents in charge under me and 24 supervisors under them. Dr. West is the foremost expert on MKUltra. MKUltra is a government CIA mind control program. I had absolutely no knowledge of the project, MKUltra, the Monarch Project, during the period I was in the FBI. It was only after I got out of the FBI and I started doing my own research, and that came about because I was the investigator of the Jeffrey R. McDonald case. He's a former Green Beret doctor who was convicted of murdering his wife and 2 children in Fort Bragg, February 17, 1970. And he was tried and convicted, sentenced to 3 consecutive life sentences. I was called into the case after he'd been tried and convicted. His friends said he's innocent, and I began my investigation. And within 10 months, October 25, 1980, I obtained a signed confession from a girl, Helena Stokely, who said Dr. McDonald did not commit those crimes. They were committed by her satanic cult group. The satanic cult group was distributing drugs up and down the East Coast, that were being flown in plastic bags of the body cavities of the dead GIs coming out of Southeast Asia. And this is the late 60s, early 70s. This is all documented. Time magazine, January 1, 1973. Dr. McDonald is absolutely innocent, and he's in jail today, 20-some years in prison. Now, the reason I tell you about that case is because after I developed this information and went public with my confession from Helena, I was on national TV, I was on radio talk shows, and people came from all parts of the United States and said, hey, I know all about that, satanic cults, it's for real, I'm a victim, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's how I became involved and embroiled in these very controversial issues. And then I started doing my own research, and one thing led to another. And then I investigated international child kidnapping ring out of the Midwest, out of Nebraska. They were flying children out of Sioux City, Iowa to Washington, D.C. for sex orgies with congressmen and senators. And just went on and on. And I had the McMartin case out of Southern California. The children were dropped off in the school in the morning by their parents. They picked them up late in the afternoon. In the interim, they put the kids through tunnels and up into the trapdoor, the triplex next door, put them in automobiles and prostituted them. 2, 3, 4-year-old children. Unbelievable. And this is how I became involved in all these issues. And I just kept going, as any good investigator would do. I just keep going. The international child kidnapping ring is not being exposed. I have personally given my documentation to the FBI on at least 6 or 8 occasions, and I have been ignored because it's a covert CIA child kidnapping operation that's been active since the early 1960s. What's happening here is these children are being flown, or were in the past in the 1980s, out of Sioux City, Iowa, to Washington, D.C. for these sex orgies for the purpose of blackmailing the congressmen, of compromising them. And, of course, hey, there's a bill that's going to be passed on Monday, and that I can come around to you and say, Congressman, you remember when you were with that little boy, that little girl last Friday? Okay, you better vote this way. That's exactly what's happening. It's called blackmail. This is a CIA covert operation. It's called the Finders out of Washington, D.C. And they're involved in kidnapping and international trafficking of children around the world. And I had, in my day, in the 80s, I had one of the kids who was actually part of the kidnapping team. When he was 10, 11, 12 years old, they would put him out as a decoy in the parks, certain shopping malls and so forth, and to attract the kids his age over near the car. And then the adults would grab the children and be off with them. One little kid was a 12-year-old newspaper boy named Johnny Gosh out of West Des Moines, Iowa. Johnny Gosh was kidnapped, and back in 1982, he was taken in, used as a sex slave. Later, he and another kid escaped. They stole a car and escaped, and Johnny Gosh is in hiding right today, by the way. The children are used for body parts. They're used for satanic ceremonies, human sacrifices. They're used as sex slaves. In 1997, I think it was, I was in Denver giving a lecture. I had a tip from an airline employee that 210 children flew out of Denver to New York and then on to Paris, France. The airline employee who saw this was refueling the plane, asked a female adult and 2 male adults who were with the children, asked a female adult and 2 male adults who were with the children, who are these kids? And the woman says, Child Protective Services, mind your own business. And that man, by the way, has disappeared. I also had a tip from an airline employee, a flight attendant out of Los Angeles, that a plane load of kids, children, was flown to Paris, France. Paul Benassi, my informant inside the Nebraska case, who was part of the Child Network, told me that some of these kids are auctioned off. He's attended 6 such auctions. As few as 6 and as many as 36 children were auctioned off at these various auctions. The children sell for up to $50,000 each, sometimes more. The ages are 2 to 21. The kids stand on a stage in their underwear with a number across their, with the string around their neck and a number on a cord, on a piece of cardboard, and the people in the audience bid on them, just like bidding on an automobile. This is going on right under our nose. I've given this to the FBI and demanded investigation. I gave the latest complaint I filed is in writing as of November of this last year. I just keep pumping it over to them, keep giving it to them. And I have a U.S. Customs report that documents this.
For those who have platforms and choose to remain silent, that silence makes you complicit. Children are being harmed, and many people assume their own children are safe. The reality is that they may not be. Abuse and exploitation can happen anywhere. It can happen in daycares, it can happen in schools, it can even happen in churches. This is why difficult conversations need to be had openly. There is also a growing body of testimony from individuals who claim they were subjected to forms of deliberate psychological programming. According to these accounts, extreme trauma is intentionally used to fracture the mind. Methods described by survivors include ritualized abuse and medically induced near-death experiences. The purpose of this trauma, they say, is to fragment the psyche. When the mind is fractured in this way, separate ego states or identities can form. Each identity is said to be occupied by a different demon. It's called demon attachments. Survivors often describe these identities as being compartmentalized parts of the self that can be activated under specific conditions. Because a person's own will is manipulated and entangled in the process, undoing that conditioning later in life can be extraordinarily difficult. Many individuals who claim to have experienced this type of programming say they did not understand what had happened to them until much later in adulthood. As they grow older, often in their 30s, they begin to recognize patterns in their memories, behaviors, and internal experiences that previously felt confusing or disconnected. This awareness can allow them to step back and observe their lives from a new perspective. For the first time, they begin to reclaim their ability to think independently about what may have been done to them. According to these testimonies, children between the ages of 1 and 3 are often the most vulnerable to this type of conditioning. The number of people affected could be far greater than most would ever imagine. Many survivors believe that people may personally know someone who has been through this without realizing it. In recent years, more individuals have begun speaking publicly about their experiences. However, these stories rarely receive attention in mainstream media, which leaves many people unaware that such claims even exist. Some survivors also speak about what they call bloodline families, referencing the idea that certain elite family networks have maintained influence across generations. Children born into those lineages are sometimes described as being groomed to perpetuate the system and advance its agenda. At the same time, survivors claim that children outside of those bloodlines can also be subjected to the same abuses. The distinction, according to these accounts, is that those children are often considered expendable. The reason these elite, secretive occult societies traffic and sacrifice children goes far beyond what most people can comprehend. Within these dark esoteric belief systems, it is thought that when a human being experiences extreme fear, pain, or psychological trauma, the body releases a powerful form of energetic discharge. They believe that this energy, produced during moments of intense distress, can be harnessed or manipulated for ritualistic and spiritual purposes. This release of energy is believed to carry a chaotic or negative frequency that strengthens the forces they serve. To them, these acts are not merely acts of violence, but ritualized practices meant to generate and channel this energy. Children in particular are targeted because they have not yet been psychologically conditioned or hardened in the way adults have. They are perceived as more innocent, more spiritually open, and more connected to God. Because of this perceived purity, these groups believe that the trauma experienced by a child produces a far more potent energetic release than that of an adult. This belief system has historically been used to justify horrific acts carried out under the guise of ritual, power, and devotion to the dark spiritual forces they claim to serve.
Major trigger warning. If you're not going through the files, I am. And here are some of the most disturbing things I have seen. They trafficked little girls. They got them pregnant. They took their babies. They starved the babies, made them very thirsty, and then they put their in their mouths because they knew the babies would suck harder. They joke about cream cheese. They are referring to breast milk in the intestines tasting good because they ate them. Well, actually, they were probably eating their own as well. All of our children are accessible to all of these predators because their school photos were handed over to, yeah, MAGA, your kids were handed over too. They wrote emails back and forth like, got a good 10-year-old, got a good 8-year-old, virgin, just your style, you want it? But the saddest part here, the most disturbing part, is that Pam Bondi, Donald Trump, Kash Patel, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Dan Bongino, Steve Miller, Bannon, all these people and the 1,000 FBI agents that redacted the files, they know who all these perpetrators are. They know that people, children were killed, buried, put in the water, put in fields. They know where they are. They know who the perpetrators are, and they redacted their names. And they are sitting around eating their dinner right now, knowing the names of the people who did this. And no one in America is pressing charges or doing anything.
When I was in the 2nd grade, I was tested for what they would call the gifted program for children to see, if you were able to excel in different grade levels or academically excel beyond the average child. And once I was chosen for that program, these men in the occult then moved and changed their purpose for me from being raised to be what is known as a beta kitty or a sex kitten, where they use you just for that, for sexual purposes and control and money in the demonic system. People would ask me why I didn't tell anybody, and I did. When you're young and at that age, they teach you in school, if somebody is hurting you, if they're touching you where your bathing suit is, to tell a teacher, tell a policeman, tell somebody at your church. They give you the list of people in authority to tell. And that sounds like a really good plan, except when Child Protective Services are involved in the abuse. Police and the community are involved in the occult and the abuse. The judges and attorneys are involved, and local pediatricians, and the teachers. So after I was tested for the gifted program, then I was moved into a new opportunity within the demonic system. And that's a program that they use to mind control children, to program you, and see if you're a candidate for things like super soldier programs or other government things. In my case, I happened to be really observant, and God blessed me with a photographic memory. So I started learning very quickly how the questions worked, what they were looking for, and what the punishments were if you didn't answer things correctly. And I thought, because of that, I wasn't being punished like other children were around me, but things shifted to where I was taken out in the woods and left and hunted by these men. And multiple times over the years, I've had to take out buckshot and other types of bullets out of my own body for healing, and the doctors didn't want to help with any of that. So by the time I turned 9, these men had political ambitions, and some of them were starting to run for office and other things, and so they had a large ceremony, which is one to condition you, to promise you to be a bride of Satan. During that night, I experienced spiritual warfare beyond any child's comprehension, let alone most adults that I know today. For years, I was plagued by that night and wondered how I survived.
This most dangerous game, as they referred to it, was a matter of human hunting. And when a mind control slave such as myself was stripped of clothes and turned loose in the woods, I was then hunted by George Bush, Dick Cheney, and Bill Clinton, among others. But they were the main ones. I do not believe that it was necessary for them to have subjected me to this form of trauma. There were so many other traumas going on at the time. My mind was already prime conditioned for mind control program. So I really don't understand it, except for the fact that they found great pleasure in this form of human hunting. And they took it from particular military maneuvers. And
which base we're talking about when you was recalling the situation when Clinton was president and Mr. Bush? Which airspace?
There's a little place called Lampe, Missouri, that's just across the Arkansas line. Bill Clinton was governor of Arkansas at that time, and his whole corporation that was Mena, Arkansas was the main hub for, was bringing cocaine into this CIA compound. And this particular Swiss villa, as they called it, amphitheater in Lampe, Missouri, was actually a CIA compound out in the woods, military fencing all around it, and mind control training center where there was high-tech equipment was in one building. There were offices in another. There were little Swiss-style villas or cabins where different officials in either the military, CIA, or politics would stay, and it would house them while they were there for either the cocaine activities, for the paramilitary operations that were going on. You know, there were black helicopters everywhere, total robotic guys that were being used in special forces.
Which special forces you're referring to? There was also another program, Mind Control, by Delta Force,
yes.
right? Can you describe, what is your knowledge? Do you have any knowledge of that, or you met these people, and can you describe me some more of this?
The Delta Force and the Navy SEALs are an elite part of the military that is mind controlled, like the mercenaries. I'm more familiar with the mercenaries that were being trained to carry out international operations that weren't necessarily sanctioned by Congress, and they were brought into other countries, such as South America, and to carry out their orders. When in a country like that, the airplanes would then come back with the drugs, and it was then sold on the streets here in America and really worldwide. The CIA's so-called war on drugs was nothing more than the CIA eliminating their competition and taking over the drug industry. So it was all inter-attached. It all interworked. At this particular compound in Lampe, Missouri, the paramilitary operations there were for more of the UN aspect. They didn't wear UN uniforms. They wore black uniforms. They had black helicopters. And this was for implementing the New World Order and didn't really have anything to do with our actual military defense.
Hillary was specifically chosen by the Mothers of Darkness and the Satanic Council. You know, so I had a lot of experiences with her in Chicago in the early 1980s, which did include, you know, witnessing, I'll just say, multiple murders. You know, with the hunting parties, I witnessed one of those in 1982 at the Rothschilds' Black Forest Lodge. You know, the elite who are healthy, who are well, you know, who are younger, they would release the children that they would hold captive in caverns around that area, usually at dusk, and then they would hunt all night for the kids. But they would release them and hunt for them. That would include, you know, rape and then murder. For the older individuals who are, you know, are not able to go out in the woods, they're getting older, they will have the youngest children inside the house. So they'd have those who are like 5 and younger in the house. Older people would hunt them within the house or the lodge. Usually, like with the ones in the house, they would just be raped and used for sex magic. They wouldn't necessarily kill them.
Tell us about the first time you got taken to one of these parties, what your memories are of that.
Yeah, okay. So I was woken up by Michael Kohler. I was so scared of him. Like one of the ways that this ended up getting out is my mom had a guest over at the house, and when Michael told me to brush my teeth one night, I pissed myself in front of this guest, and this guest wanted to know why I was pissing myself, so scared of this man. that's just an ancillary event of one of the reasons why I was able to eventually talk to some counselors at my school and get him into some kind of trouble. You have to understand I was a young kid during this, so I'm not privy to exactly what happened to him. I've only been told by relatives that is what occurred, and I know that he disappeared out of my life at that point. But so I was woken up by him. He took me into the car. I remember driving for a very long time, and I remember being aware of where we were going. It was, we weren't wealthy. We were very poor. So it was all very impressive to me when we went up into the hills of Scottsdale, and it's a place in the greater Phoenix area that's a little more wealthy. And we were taken down. We were presented with a gate, a very large gate, and I remember being really impressed by it. I thought it was really cool. I didn't know what was happening to me the first time. I was very excited about what was happening. I was told that I was getting rewarded, and that what was going to happen to me was very, very special. I remember being super impressed by the gate because it was a mechanical gate, and I remember going up a very, very long drive to the biggest house I'd ever seen. It was like it was an amusement park. Like, to me, I was so excited to go to this place. And so when we were ushered inside by some greeters that would take people inside, I saw all the adults in the grand area that were, drinking champagne glasses, what have you, having like a party type thing. And I was taken to a room where there were other children, and the room was set up for children. And I remember it was only later in subsequent events where I would meet and try to have relationships with some of the kids. I remember, trying to talk to one of the kids, and I remember being scared of all the other kids because they were really standoffish, and I didn't know why. They didn't seem happy to be there like I was. There was only like one other kid that was happy to be there, and I remember trying to talk to him because I felt comfortable talking to him because I was scared of these other kids. I didn't know why they didn't want to talk to me. And subsequent events later, there would be conversations where I'd be told what happened to certain kids and why these kids were not happy to be there once I had an understanding of what was going to happen to us. But the first time I was then brought out into where the ritual was to take place, at which point we had been given ice cream that I'm assuming was to drug us because everything goes after that. But certain times it was less. I was more able to retain all the memories of what would happen to me later. But during that time, that's the first time that I was sexually assaulted by a large group of people. It's the scene that your listeners will be familiar with. It's real. Like, they take it seriously. They actually believe this garbage, and they find some kind of power out of abusing children, and they think that it gives them power. And I was so convinced that I was so special for what was going to be happening to me, that what they were doing to me was a privilege to me. Like, I should be thankful for what they were doing to me. And at which point, they would viciously assault us and take everything from us. Like, they're trying to eat our souls is how I described it when I was a kid. When I was doing art therapy is apparently what I would say. And it's the scene that they'd all be familiar with. It's the scene where, like, these people are in their garb, and they are dressing up and playing their little games. And this happened to me several times, of which the hunts that I've described to you were less frequent. And because of the way that I was able to expose this guy, I think that I probably got off a lot easier than a lot of the people you talk to. There was a time in my life where I thought that I was the most unlucky person in the world, and no one could have had it worse than me. But in hearing the accounts of some of the people that you talk to, I think that I'm one of the lucky ones. I mean, I know I am just to be alive, but just the fact that I wasn't exposed to this for lengths of time like David, and it's just I'm I'm counting my blessings at this point for only being exposed to it for the period of 5 years or whatever. But that's how long it went on, and I was involved in the hunting party situations only a handful of times, and I was only brought to this place special occasions. It would be like a couple times a year, but during that time, the abuse continued in my home life and ramped up in severity. So I was dealing with it on different fronts, and I only have an understanding of it being satanic ritual abuse when I went back and tried to figure out what it was that happened to me when I was a kid.
Right, and you're talking about, when you talk about people dressed up and everything, you're talking about people in robes, eyes wide shut,
ceremonial formations of people in a grand hall. There's different locations. So at one location there was like a piano and there was like a landing up top. So it was very different. There was a point where there was masks involved in one of them, like you might see from like that Kubrick movie type scenario. But this was the very first time that you're talking about. It was just ceremonial garb, reading incantations with candles and all kinds of things that I thought were impressive at the time. The fear was setting in at that point. I can remember it vividly. But they were continuing to tell me how special I was and how what was going to happen to me was very, very special, and I should be thankful. And it was always presented to me during these situations as a blessing, as a gift to me.
Since powerful institutions have always understood the influence of culture, one of the easiest ways to shape the thoughts and values of the masses is through celebrities and politicians. These figures become the faces people admire, imitate, and trust. Because of this influence, many critics argue that rising stars in entertainment and politics are often drawn into systems of loyalty that benefit the powerful networks behind the scenes. In this view, fame is not simply about talent or luck, it often comes with expectations of allegiance. These elite circles operate through belief systems and traditions that trace back to ancient mystery religions and secret societies. By participating in the symbolism, rituals, and culture of these circles, individuals demonstrate their loyalty to the system that elevated them. What makes these allegations especially disturbing is the repeated appearance of child exploitation scandals connected to powerful figures and institutions throughout history. From trafficking networks to abuse within elite circles, the exploitation of the vulnerable has surfaced again and again whenever these systems are exposed. In the darkest corners of elite networks, cruelty itself becomes a way of binding members together. The more disturbing the act, the stronger the shared secrecy and silence among those involved. Whether one accepts these claims or not, the pattern of powerful individuals being shielded from accountability when abuse scandals emerge has left many people deeply suspicious of the systems that protect them. And that leads to an uncomfortable realization. Many of the same figures society celebrates, the celebrities, politicians, and cultural icons placed on pedestals, exist within these systems of influence. If we truly want to confront abuse and exploitation wherever it exists, one of the first steps may be dismantling the culture of celebrity worship itself. Because when we stop idolizing powerful figures, we begin holding them accountable like everyone else, and accountability is the first step toward protecting the innocent.
Yeah, so my name is Nathan Reynolds. I come from a family known as the Reynolds family, and they are in our area and in our country a very powerful family that's developed massive financial, political, and corporate influence. And they did that from the early 1800s, making literal deals with evil spirits. And I know it sounds kind of peculiar because a lot of people might see this stuff as something that may be cartoonish, devils worshiping, people gather around in robes and bowing down to Satan with some pitchforks and horns. But really, the kingdom of darkness has a physical agents on this side of the earth that operate, giving themselves over to this kingdom of darkness for, power, control, and the ability to exercise their will on this earth. They're grand master wizards and magicians, and these are people that have always had the king's ear, just like King Saul all the way back in the early days of Israel was going to the witch of Endor. Even though she was put out of the community, he's still going to the witches. We still have many of the individuals who are our leaders and our governing authorities that still consult with the witches and the mediums in order to have a spiritual power behind their system of control that they're trying to implement. And so it is a very ancient way, like you talked about. This is the sacrifices to Moloch. that we read about all the way from the beginning in the scriptures. This is all the way back to the ways of Cain. Like my family participated with a group of Jesuits who trained people to slaughter and to enforce the oaths. And so they were like guardians of these oaths that they swear, and people that would go in and enforce these oaths that were sworn during these ceremonies. And at the time, back in the 90s, when this was going on for me in the early 90s and early 2000s, this was much less openly disclosed. There is this revelation of the beast system that's kind of coming forth into popular culture, and it's kind of they're demystifying the occult. They're lifting the veil as their counter to the revelation of the Messiah, the true Messiah, the one who comes with deliverance in mind. There's another system that is revealing itself to the masses right now, which is revealing the beast. And it's trying to create an altered image. It's trying to create a mingling between flesh and circuitry. It's trying to mingle the occult with the good. So it's not just good versus bad, it's evil versus bad. And they're joining themselves together, and they're trying to infect society with a massive spell. It's called the Great Deception. It is the greatest, most effective deception that's being beguiling over the eyes of mankind. However, there is this remnant that's waking up, like you're describing right now, that this information is being brought forth, that because this is getting revealed, it's giving survivors, it's getting victims, it's giving people the opportunity to make a choice, that now you know who it is you're going to actually be a participant of versus who it is that you actually want to be on this earth. You want to be a part of this kingdom of righteousness or the kingdom of destruction?
Luciferians cast a spell on the world. And,
for real?
Oh, absolutely. They tell you, what's going on ahead of time. It's predictive programming. And once you say it out loud and you put it out there and make fun of it and do a little skit like Stephen Colbert did a little skit on his show where, oh, here's a baby. I'm going to take this baby and I'm going to give it to Moloch. And he goes into like a cloudy red, furnace and hands the baby over. And he's, oh, the baby's going to be fine. And they make a joke about it and the audience laughs. Okay, we're all now conditioned to it. We've all seen it. And by laughing at it, we're complicit.
You think that's on purpose, that this is like some sort of a grand design to get us to be desensitized to the idea of demons eating babies?
Yeah, for sure.
Really?
For sure. And by the way, nobody's doing anything about it. We know what's happening.
But that has to take, there has to be a person or some group of people.
Yeah, like about 8,500 people. Yeah.
That are manipulating the Colbert Show?
They're manipulating everything. It's all an illusion. Like, reality as we know it is fake. That's the revelation that guy is having. And he's looking around and he's like, it's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Well, the thing about the emails is, one of the things is it's just stuff written down. And so that's sort of hard to digest. Like, what is this? Like, what are they saying? Like, some of it is in code, like walking over beef jerky. Like talking about jerky, could you walk beef jerky over to this person? Like, what does that mean?
For all this pizza they're talking about, no,
right.
You never see any pizza.
Right. Yeah. They're ordering pizza.
I'm going to get some grape soda. It's like with my cheese pizza.
Yeah.
And there's all this coded language, and everyone's like, oh, that's you just have pareola. You're just seeing things where you want to see them.
No, there's clearly a code. Well, that was the thing about Pizzagate.
It's absolutely a code, and in fact, mundus vult decepi, ergo decipiatur. It's a long-known concept, and so in Latin, mundus vult decepi means the world wants to be deceived. Ergo decipiatur. Therefore, it is. We want to be deceived. We don't want to believe the horrors that are actually behind the veil.
Throughout history, civilizations have warned about the dangers of power without morality. Ancient texts describe societies that turn to dark practices, sacrificing innocence in pursuit of wealth, influence, and control. Whether we look at the stories surrounding Baal worship, the disturbing symbolism that appears in elite circles, or the modern scandals involving powerful individuals and child exploitation, one thing becomes clear: corruption thrives in secrecy and silence. It may feel like we're powerless, but our power lies in numbers. Stop looking up to celebrities. Ask questions. What have they done to amass all their money, fame, and influence? What compromises, rituals, or oaths did they swear to get there? Protecting the innocent starts when we stop idolizing the powerful and start demanding accountability and thinking for ourselves. If there is one lesson we should take from all of this, it's that no person, no celebrity, no politician, no billionaire should ever be placed above scrutiny. The moment society begins to worship powerful figures without question is the moment those figures gain the ability to abuse that power. Protecting children and protecting truth requires courage. It requires asking difficult questions and refusing to look away simply because the people involved are famous or influential. Take action. Share this information. Post it. Speak about it. Don't turn a blind eye because your children are not out of reach. School photo albums, personal photos, and other seemingly private materials are being sold on the black market, making children accessible to those who would exploit them. Your kids are not automatically safe. They depend on our vigilance.
Real shit is going on in the world. Open your eyes. You know, kids being hurt, nobody caring. Everybody looking at it like, oh, he just crazy. It's a conspiracy. It's this, it's that. At the end of the day, that shit was real. And I out there put that my reputation online, had everybody thinking I was crazy. But at the end of the day, who's the crazy one now? You know, I didn't even really want to say this, but it's the truth. You know, everybody needs to acknowledge, like, yo, I'm tripping. Y'all was tripping, not me. You guys were tripping. I was the one that was actually with sanity, because I'm like, yo, they're hurting little kids. Let's help them. That's called being a real man, because I don't give a fuck what people say about me.
That's right.
I walked through the fire and still held it down and still beat fucking Devin Haney.
You guys overrate everything. You guys hate on me because I'm pretty and shit. Man, that's fucked up. At the end of the day, I've been boxing my whole life, and all I do is love God and try to help the children, and you guys straight hate on me. You guys do not love the truth. The truth is in front of you. I put my fucking reputation on the line for all the kids in the world, and everybody's fucking staying quiet, but me.
I was subjected to satanic ritual abuse, child sex trafficking, and torture from my birth in 1964 to age 18 in 1982, when I left, moved to the United States, and changed my name. I was involved through my Italian family line. I was tortured in an underground facility in Rome that had tunnels connecting it to the subterranean levels of the Vatican. I witnessed child sacrifice there and was trafficked from there and within the European elite. The satanic rituals occurred in the Vatican, as well as in elite mansions, in underground tunnels, and in private outdoor areas. What were the most common forms of abuse you were subjected to? The kinds of abuse I was subjected to include rape, gang rape, being forced to watch the torture and murder of animals and humans, ranging from babies to adults, electric shock, waterboarding, being buried alive with dead bodies, being put in coffins, being defecated and urinated on, watching people be disemboweled and having their entrails placed on me, various forms of mind control, horrific experiments on myself and witnessing them on others, being locked in a freezer, being kept in cages and isolation boxes for long periods of time, and watching satanic rituals below the Vatican, including the brutalization and sacrifice of babies and children, the ritualized drinking of their blood and organs, and the summoning of demonic entities via this ritual. What is your personal message for humanity? My message to humanity is that our world is controlled and run by satanic, pedophile psychopaths who are in the highest positions of authority and power globally. All our systems, be it media, medicine, religious institutions, education, intelligence agencies, military, global agencies, and governments, have been infiltrated at the top layers by this global cult. Pedophilia undergirds their system and is used as a mechanism of blackmail and control, as well as being part of the satanic religion. Children are still being ritually abused, trafficked, and murdered in the millions today. I am sharing my testimony because it is up to us to stop the abuse of children, and indeed the abuse of all of humanity. These people have used trauma-based mind control and succeeded with secrecy and deception, so exposing them is of paramount importance. They have poisoned our food, water, air, our bodies with pharmaceuticals and vaccines, our minds with media and miseducation, and they have convinced us they have authority over humanity. They have traumatized us with wars, terrorism, violence, weather warfare, poverty, scarcity, and engineered diseases. Their endgame is genocide of most and complete enslavement of remaining. They want us to openly worship Lucifer and normalize pedophilia, and we can see this happening today. They can only succeed with our compliance, consent, and cooperation. We need to know the truth so we can say no more. And we need to do our inner work, heal and restore ourselves, because when we do this, we step into our power, we can come together despite their many attempts to divide us, and together co-create a better way forward.